Hello, my name is Letitia Smith, and this is my interpersonal communication project and fulfillment of the course HSCO 508 with Liberty University under the direction of Dr. Cooper. Next slide. I would like to introduce myself. Again, my name is Letitia Smith. I'm 28 years old. I'm a single mother to a wonderful 4-year-old son. I am a teacher, and I have been teaching now for the past 5 years. I currently teach with the Head Start program in Newport News, Virginia, under the Office of Human Affairs. I currently manage a classroom of 19, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Basically, me and my TA and myself help the children gain the social skills and the emotional maturity, as well as academic skills needed for success within kindergarten and later grades. Next slide. Before I discuss interpersonal communication, we must first understand what communication is. Stewart describes communication as the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning-making. Peterson describes it as the oil that lubricates the engine of relationships, which is basically means it is the main process behind any relationship. Interpersonal communication is described as Stewart as the type or kind of communication that happens when the people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the person. Next slide. My overarching goal for myself is to enhance my listening skills. More importantly, my empathetic listening skills, and I want to make sure that I become a level 1 listener so that I may maintain meaningful personal and professional relationships. I'm currently looking to enter the field of child protective services, and empathetic listening, as well as being a level 1 listener, is very important within this field. That's one of the main focuses of the job, is to listen and listen well, and take in verbal and non-verbal cues so that we can access the well-being of children within households. Stewart states that when a person is listening empathetically, he or she is receptive or sensitive to the full range of characteristics shared by the other person, but responds only with his or her own impersonal characteristics. Next slide. Enlarging the conversation. I plan to enlarge my conversation by being attentive and utilizing my focusing skills, which is my posture, my eye contact, responsive movements and sounds that I would use during conversation to let the speaker know that I am in tune and in fact listening to what is being stated. I will also use encouraging skills and reflecting skills. These skills basically will let the person know that you fully understand and that you have basically heard and understood what was being stated. Next slide. A little background about myself. I grew up in a single-parent home, raised only by my mother. My father was, however, involved in my life all the way throughout my life. He left the home when I was 2 years old, but I had constant daily contact with my father. I have one brother who is 14 years older than me, so by the time I really came to fully understand anything, he was moved out of the house, and it was basically like I was an only child. Again, I'm a single mom to a 4-year-old son, so it's kind of like the process is continuing. When my son was 2, his father and I split, just the way that my mother and father split when I was 2. Throughout my childhood, I was teased and bullied because of my physical outward appearance. When I was 2 years old, I had a mastoidectomy surgery, which was a surgery on my brain to drain infection from an ear infection that had went up into my skull and got into a bone in my skull. So I had to remove a piece of my skull out of my head, as well as drain that infection because it had started to make my brain to swell. As a side effect, I have some significant nerve damage to the left side of my face, whereas my left eye doesn't close all the way fully when I blink, or when I smile, the left side of my mouth does not form a smile, and my left eye closes. So many times I'm looked at, and as a child, I was called names such as one-eye, monster, ugly, just different, names, different things children do during their childhood. But because of this teasing and bullying, I kind of gained a tough exterior on the outside. So, which plays a major part in my behavioral blend, which is what I'll be talking about next. Next slide. My behavioral blend. I'm very dominant, direct, demanding, and determined. This is on my graph 1, which is what is expected of me. Others see me as very confident, stubborn, cocky, intimidating, threatening. My strength would be that my strength itself. I'm a very strong person, very strong will, very determined, and when I have my mind set on something and set my mind to do something, it does get done. My weakness would be my determination to win, which is, basically I like to win and I will win at all costs. Next slide. My graph 2, which is this is me, is active and task oriented, and it gives sometimes give the impression that others are irritating. Others kind of see me as unfriendly and unsociable, direct and demanding, but also cautious and calculating, which is very true. I'm always looking at others and kind of calculating who they are and what their ulterior motives are, which can sometimes be a downfall for me when communicating and forming relationships with others. Next slide. Some intercommunication barriers for myself. Interpersonal communication barriers. Hearing what you want to hear, which is a listening barrier that exists when someone hears what they want to hear and not what is really communicated. Basically, you hear what you have in your mind set to hear, or what you think that person is going to say. That's what you hear, even though that might not be at all what the person said. There are differences in perception and viewpoint, which means that basically what the speaker views and sees is not what you agree with, and therefore you kind of tune them out because they don't have the same views as you. Also, fast thinking and assumptions, which basically means while others are speaking, our mind is moving faster than the conversation is moving, and our mind has gone totally to something else, and we've now lost the conversation and have now tuned out the conversation. Next slide. Some solutions, I would say, are to increase your awareness of nonverbal cues so that you can enhance your understanding of what is being communicated, increase your openness and your ability to accept others' points of views, and also to enhance your focusing skills so that you can clearly understand a message before responding. Next slide. Noise pollution. Internal noise pollution could be hearing what you want to hear, boredom, defensiveness, your emotional state. External or outside would be fast speaking, multitasking, focusing on other things, and environmental noise such as traffic outside or telephone ringing or fan in the background. Next slide. Solutions. Being patient. For internal, being patient, remaining calm, and actually hearing the message out, and utilizing active listening. For external noise pollution, remaining focused, clarifying all the information that you have received and making sure that you have all the information correct, and making sure you're in a calm, peaceful place so that you can remain calm and peaceful throughout the conversation. Next slide. My action plan to achieve empathetic listening is to just demonstrate compassion and caring for others. Again, within the career of Child Protective Services, you must have compassion and caring for others in order to do that job, That has to be one of your main focuses. You have to remain attentive towards your speaker so that they know that you're listening. And enhance your verbal and nonverbal cues as well as many others. Next slide. In conclusion, effective listening is important because it helps in improving and maintaining relationships. It involves being empathetic towards the speaker and controlling your responses. And then, last but not leastly, it leads to greater personal and professional success, which is my ultimate goal. I would like to thank you all for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you all have taken something from this course. I really enjoyed it. And I pray that each and every one of you find joy, peace, and harmony within your lives. Thank you. Bye-bye.